Becca, do you listen to Nicki's music?
Honestly, I grew up on Little Kim so heavy.
Right.
That when that came out, I was just like, she's biting my girl.
With my sons, I used the circuit, got them hurt.
So, I've never been with anyone as famous as him.
He know for certain, caught me that bird.
No, I'm not part of that bar.
You're a Barb.
I'm a Barb, yes. My own Barbie, a real Barbie.
You're one of Nicki's Barbs.
No, I'm not.
You're a
No,
Barb.
I'm not.
You're a Barb.
I wish. She's her own. No,
You're a Barb.
You're a Barb.
You're definitely a Barb.
I don't even know who Barb is. Exactly. You know who
You're holding the dress of a Barb.
I'm holding the dress of a queen. You're a Barb.
I'm a Barb.
Nervous, I make them nervous.
Hey y'all, it's B Taylor TV and welcome back to my channel. And today I just wanted to do a quick video about Mena apologizing to Nicki Minaj over the Safaree situation. Now we all know that Safaree and Nicki Minaj was together for 10 plus years before she blew up, and as the world know her now as a superstar. This man went on a campaign discrediting her art, discrediting that she doesn't write her own songs, that he was the mastermind behind her art craft, and that Nicki was never the same after Safaree left. And people really gave into that narrative that, oh, her music's not the same, it's not good anymore, you need to go back to Safaree and help, have him help you write some songs. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I started to think that as well, because I was like, oh, her pen game is not the same since Safaree left. But that woman was going through a treacherous time. She was going through heartbreak. I mean, all she's known was Safaree for 10 plus years. I mean, he was there before her come up, only for him to just leave with the amount of destruction that he caused in her life. So fast forward, Mena and Safaree end up getting together on a show. I think it was Big Brother, some show like that. And they got together, and Mena really just thought she was that girl. Like, Safaree chased her down and love bombed her. I mean, we all saw the love bombing when somebody chased you down and you're everything to that person, and they live and breathe of your essence every day and needing to talk to you every day and every night. They can't get enough of you. They do everything right. They study you. They make sure that they're doing everything that you basically said that you want in a relationship. They listen and they apply those things, and you think that they're applying pressure, but really they're love bombing you to get you to, believe that they are this person that they are portraying themselves to be, only for them to get you in love or in a marriage or in a public relationship with them or even a baby with them. That's when the true colors start coming out, and that's when the fantasy starts dying down. But during that time, you felt the need to trash his ex and join in to basically make it seem like you were the better woman, that, his ex was crazy, and that he was just this amazing person that he was presenting himself to be, and that she is the problem. And so you join in into the demise of another woman's pain, thinking that you are better than the ex, only for you to get done 20 times worse than what Nicki Minaj experienced with Safaree. And Nicki came out with no kids. Thank goodness. So now we have Mena apologizing to Nicki Minaj in a new podcast where she's making a public apology to Nicki about how she played a part into antagonizing Nicki Minaj's pain and antagonizing and gaslighting Nicki Minaj's experience with Safaree, because, oh, I didn't experience that with him.
I found out he was cheating on me the first time ever, and he was going to Chinese parlors.
Well, didn't Nicki Minaj say that he was paying for with her credit cards?
Before we get into that, I owe her the biggest apology. I owe her an apology because, like a lot of us women tend to do when we don't know any better, especially when we're hard, deep, wrapped, warped into the love bombing phases, the red flag that us women tend to ignore when a man sits there and talks to you,
love bombs,
about his ex. and all the things she did to him. It's funny how life comes full circle because the same thing he did to her, he's doing to me years later. I remember him pouring his heart out to me about all the stuff she did to him, showing me videos of her reacting. And at the time, I didn't think to ask, well, what did you do to her?
Why does this man always have videos of these women reacting?
Exactly. And now, mind you, this is a video he was at one point going around. I found out later on, he was going around the industry showing to like around the time he was trying to bring her down when he was lying to people saying that he wrote for her, like literally saying whatever he could to like kind of ruin her career and take her credibility for her real hard-earned work. I owe this woman an apology because I sat there and allowed him to talk about her to me. From that came me saying things and like defending and vouching for him and speaking up on her in a way that was tacky, because at the end of the day, I didn't know the truth, especially not the truth that I know now. A lot of women do that. They get caught up with a man and he's so good to you that you allow him to gossip to you about his ex.
You get manipulated.
And they never tell you what they did. They just tell you what they did and how crazy she is and she did this and she did that. But it comes full circle. Tables always turn. Everything she has ever said about him is true.
I think that is so big of you to apologize to Nicki like that.
Yeah, I do.
Publicly.
And I feel like
I don't know who needed to hear this, but good for you. Good for you. You see, sometimes you need to leave people them alone. And you see, sometimes when a queen is minding her business, girl thinks that them want, you understand, getting at the queen convo. Girl thinks say they want the queen life. I don't know who needed to hear this, but good for you. Good. Stop fucking lying. Don't go out your way and start harassing people who never said anything about you or to you. Don't care about nothing that's going on with you, but you was being, God for you. Now, to all of my queen them, shout out to you. Blessings on blessings on blessings to you. All of the queens that's, just waiting a karma turn, Be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you beg for. Be careful what you want to disrespect other people for having. Hunty, I said I don't know who needs to hear it, but good for you. And I don't care.
He should be apologizing. I've done nothing but good for him. You wouldn't know who this man was. He asked me to take him with me to Atlanta. I came to New York to get my clothes. He asked me to take him with me. How dare you bite the hand that feeds you? He had a job in Atlanta for one day. He came back home and said he doesn't want to do that job. I said, don't worry. I had $1,000 in my bank account. I said, don't worry. I'll figure out a way to get our rent paid. We had no couch. We had no bed. Our mattress was on the carpet. Instead of going out there and working, he decided he didn't want to work. And I said, it's okay, I'll figure it out. I'll book a show. If anything, he should just be thanking God that he now has an opportunity to make money and to make a way for himself. You wouldn't have had this opportunity had I not pushed my pen. He told me to stop trying to pursue rap. He told me that I was living in a fantasy world and it would never happen. Him, his mother, and his sister called me a lazy bitch because I was pursuing my rap career.
You obviously did the right thing.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
I don't pray on no woman's downfall, but Erica Mena's downfall is so well deserved. She has always had erratic behavior. Like, this is nothing new. This is not a shock. From calling Spice a monkey to then getting fired from Love and Hip Hop, which I'm sure she never thought in a million years would happen, to then going like fake throwing subs at Nicki Minaj the whole entire time when your man didn't even want you the whole time. to Safaree being a deadbeat dad and being the exact man that Nicki has been trying or been telling the whole fucking world. And then on top of him being a deadbeat dad, he was probably talking mad shit about Nicki to you and all that just for him to go to her sold out second leg tour. Oh, I understand why she's losing it. See, now you hopping over fences with a ladder, scooting over the fence, then you jog to the... Embarrassing. That's what that Jamaican dick do, though. We seen them news from the late 2010s.
Oh, I love this one. You believe the ex is crazy, now you're the crazy ex. This is in reference to when you're dealing with a narcissistic person or toxic person, and they say something like, you know what? All my exes are crazy. I have a history of attracting and dealing with crazy exes. And then you end up believing that person. You end up believing that they've had crazy exes because you might have had crazy exes. Then guess what happens? Why those exes are crazy, why they might be crazy, comes to the forefront. That narcissistic person or toxic person starts to treat you terribly, starts to drive you crazy, starts to gaslight you, starts to manipulate you, starts to devalue you. And then typically once they start to devalue you, they discard you and get rid of you. And then they try to move on to someone else. And then guess what happens? Now you are the crazy ex in their story. Where they try to tell their new supply, hey, look, my last ex is crazy as hell. Then the cycle continues.
Now, I've learned the hard way in the past that you never just take somebody's full on take on what they experience with their ex. You take it with a grain of salt, because when people usually retell their side of the story and that person takes zero accountability and how that relationship ended, and that's referring to men and women. If you hear a woman say, well, I wish I would have just not stayed as long. I wish that I would have known my self-worth. Those are the only things that I regret about that relationship, is not taking accountability. That is a woman that's trying to still make herself the better person and paint herself in a better light. Because if a relationship ends, it definitely takes two people on why the relationship ended. No person is perfect. You attract what you are. So if you are dealing with somebody that is toxic, you got to look within and do the shadow work. Like, hey, maybe I also have been this person. Maybe I was this person and now I attracted somebody that is this person. And because there's underlying things about myself that I see in this person that I also have, but I have not recognized those things. Also, if someone describes their ex as crazy and that they were this crazy person and that you just couldn't deal with them and they were this and that, they're most likely 99.9% lying. Okay. And I don't know why women take that dumb bait all the time, whether it's a man or a woman. It's like the women usually are the ones who fall for this dumb take, because I've heard men call out other men and women who say, no. What did you do to make the relationship end? And the woman's like, well, I just stayed too long. And the men are calling out BS because they know the truth. It takes two people for a relationship to fail. You cannot come out thinking that you are the most innocent person, because if you do, you have learned nothing. And the lesson in what you were supposed to learn in that experience, because make no mistake, every encounter with a person is for a reason, and it helps our development and growth. And if it's not helping you self-develop and grow you in a way to look within yourself, not about your ideologies, not about your idea and outlook on life, but look within yourself and actually start working on yourself as a person, that is how you stop the cycle and stop repeating the same thing. Because if you come across people who are always the victim in their story, and they're always the person that, oh, I didn't do anything, that person just did this, I didn't do anything, is the biggest lie told and the biggest red flag. Now, I didn't like when Erica Mena was saying, well, you know, I played a part into antagonizing Nicki and shitting on Nicki because I was being love bombed. He love bombed me. And that is why I jumped in and making fun of Nicki and thinking that I was the better woman. And I sat there and listened to this man trash his ex. And I allowed that to happen. And I sat back and watched because why, Erica? Tell the truth, Erica. It boosted your ego, Erica. You allowed him to trash his ex because you were competing with Nicki Minaj. This woman is a superstar. She is an artist. You are an inspiring artist. You are nowhere near where Nicki Minaj is and probably will never be as big as Nicki Minaj because you're too busy worried about another woman's lane than your own. And then you think that you're better because he dated this superstar, but he's treating you better than the actual person that's more successful than you. And you're just dumb. You cannot sit there and blame love bombing. Love bombing doesn't make you a mean girl. Let me say that again. Love bombing doesn't make you a mean girl. Love bombing doesn't make you a bully. Love bombing doesn't make you an antagonist. Love bombing don't do any of those things. That's just who you are as a person. You like joining in and dragging somebody. You like joining in and playing on another woman's demise because it boosts your ego. You got an ego boost being with Safaree and him treating you better and him marrying you and giving you 2 kids because you genuinely thought you were the better woman and that man was going to treat you better than his ex. And it is a lie that you have told yourself for years because you were really convinced that this man is who he say he was in the beginning instead of actually looking at this person's pattern. If this person has a pattern of repeated failed relationships or claims of this person abused me, this person abused me, this person. Like, how do you keep finding yourself in these situations and all of your exes are all abusers? Like all of them are the same. So you're telling me you didn't learn any lessons within that? I'm not saying that you can't get yourself in a situation and be with somebody who is abusive. I'm saying, why do you keep attracting the same man over again and letting it get to the point where he is comfortable to put his hands on you? What did you not learn from the past few other relationships? Why do your relationships keep repeating the same cycle over and over again? It's repeating the same cycle over and over and over again with different people and different faces, but same situations because you have not looked within. You looked without and you looked at him and you looked at her and you blamed everybody else but yourself. And that's why you will continue. You will continue to keep experiencing those things. After every breakup, you should always look within and journal out your thoughts and say, journal out what that other person did. By no means, I'm not telling you to evaluate the situation and really assess like what this person did and what you put up with and why you tolerated, but also go back and read what you did and how you also played a part in why that relationship failed. And let me say this, any woman who gossips with their partner about that partner's ex racks up a karmic debt within themselves that they are going to experience that person 10 to 20 times worse than what the ex described. It is so easy and such a cop-out to blame the ex and say that this person, you're only hearing one side. That's that person's side, the other person's side, and somewhere the truth lies in between. And this also goes to show that women don't believe women, especially if the ex seemed like the hurt one. We saw Nicki Minaj on The Breakfast Club And we saw her shed some tears and how hurt she was over Safaree. We saw the vulnerability. We saw her show how much she actually was hurt over the breakup. And somehow that turned to people to demonize her. That turned to people like, oh, well, she must be bitter because she is the one that's hurt out of the situation. So it was easy for Safaree to come off like he wasn't the problem. He disparaged her. He was over her. And it may have seemed like maybe she was sad because she regretted the things that she did. No, she genuinely mourned that relationship, moved on, got married, had her kids, and still married to this day. I'm not going to get into who she's married to because that's a whole nother situation, but I want to stay on topic with the Safaree and Erica. Erica went through something 10 times worse than what Nicki, because Nicki, let me tell you, Safaree couldn't bring Nicki down because that woman is super, super successful. There's only so much opportunity and chance he can get trying to take her down because he can't even reach her in the places that she's at right now. I mean, we all saw Safaree at the Nicki Minaj concert. Like, he literally is getting back at Erica now by supporting Nicki Minaj. And that is eating her up alive because Erica, in her mind, she still thought she was the better woman. She's only apologizing now because it really set in for her that this man was playing her so bad. She really thought she was the better woman because anytime he would mention Nicki Minaj or his ex and how hurt he was, she would bring up them kids. Like, well, I was the one that gave you babies. I gave you your first children. Why are you still talking about Nicki? Because one thing about it, if a person is with you and still talking about their ex, best believe they are not over their ex. And you, deep down inside, know they are not over their ex. They are rebounding with you to distract them for how they feel about their ex. But Safaree always kept talking about Nicki Minaj, whether it was good or bad. That's how you know. That's how you know he wasn't over it and he was bitter and mad that he no longer had access to Nicki. Although he was the one that, quote unquote, walked away with narcissists, they like to hover over their exes. So if they don't have access to their ex anymore, that bothers them. He doesn't have access to Nicki anymore. Nicki is not friends with Safaree anymore. She don't talk to Safaree. She mourned that relationship and moved the hell on. And now, usually with narcissists, like I said, they like to hover. They like to keep their exes in a bag if possible. They like to linger. They like to have their supply. They like to have their extra supply on the side. And that is one supply that he will never, ever, ever have access to again, which is why he can't keep Nicki's name out of his mouth. And another thing, Safaree knows how much Erica Mena still is scorned and bitter and in love with him. And that is why he treats her as such. He knows she's not over him and she's not getting over him anytime soon. Just the way she acts out on social media and keeps talking about him. If your ex keeps talking about you, best believe they're not over you, regardless if they're in a new relationship or not. If they keep talking about you, they're not over it. So Safaree treats her as such. And honestly, Safaree is really disgusted with Erica Mena. I can just tell that he is disgusted and wants to have nothing to do with her because these people used to live together. They had 2 kids together and they were married. This man is so checked out and so over this woman that's why he is treating her as such, because he is disgusted with her. I don't know what happened in that household. I'm pretty sure that it was abusive on both ends. Okay. I'm pretty sure she was spazzing out, yelling, putting him down, doing all types of crazy things to the point that he is mentally checked out. And that men, let me tell you something about men. When men are mentally checked out, it is very different than when a woman is mentally checked out. And you can tell because men, when they're mentally checked out, they're not even thinking about the kids. They just want to get far away from you as possible, which is why a lot of people say men treat their children based off of how they feel about the mother. So the reason why Safaree is treating those children, his children, not those children, his children as such, because of how he feels about the mother. He wants to detach all the way. He wants to cut the cord all the way from that entire situation. And now he is regretting his situation that he, caused with Nicki Minaj to where they ended up being broken up and never talking to him again. He's now regretting and living with his life decisions because now he's stuck with the woman who is 10 times worse than Nicki. And now she's stuck with a man who did her 10 times worse than his ex. So I don't know, guys. Let me know your thoughts below. How do y'all feel about this situation? How do you feel about Safaree and Erica Mena situation? Do you feel like her apology was sincere? A lot of people said that her apology needs to be as loud as the disrespect, and I agree. So let me know your thoughts below and join me in the comment section.